Hey, what is up, you guys? It's your favorite Foxhusky, Ross, and today I am your personal cringy medic. We're going to be learning furry first aid, starting with self-aid, how to take care of you. Stay tuned. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty, and it might get a little bloody. But first, is it okay if I break the magic? So, first and foremost, huge disclaimer before we get into anything. Please do not render aid in your fursuit. Your life is more important than that. Take off your fursuit before you conduct care on yourself or others, but that's not for today's video. We're worried about self-aid today, taking care of ourselves. Additionally, please make sure you recognize that something is happening. We can't render care to ourselves if we're not honest with our condition. If something feels weird, if something feels wrong for you, it likely is. Please notify somebody around you and seek help. Again, if we're going to perform self-aid, we have to recognize the problem, ensure our area is safe. I don't want to do self-aid in the middle of an active roadway, and if something more dangerous is happening, like a fire, it might be more beneficial for me to leave that dangerous space before providing care to myself. Additionally, I want to make it very clear, this self-aid video is not a replacement for medical care. Please, 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 if something is wrong, reach out to a staff member, reach out to a medical member, reach out to law enforcement, somebody. Make a call, flag people down, get care for yourself. Self-aid is to help prolong your chances of survival until you get additional care. This is not to replace requesting additional care or anything of that nature. We want to start with life-threatening injuries. So as I look down at myself, I'm going to look for bleeding. I can visually look. I can do what's called a blood sweep, or I can take my hand or a gloved hand, and I can kind of get a good grip. I'm looking for bleeding, and do it down my legs. I'm looking for any signs that I'm bleeding, any blood on my clothes, and do it especially where I can't see. And you kind of want to get like bear claws, right? Just want to get in there. I want to make sure that I'm not bleeding. So let's say I do my blood sweep. I got a little blood here. Let's say this jacket's bloody. I pull it up. Oh no, I hope you can see that. I've got a super duper real wound that definitely works. It's movie magic, YouTube. Please don't ban me. It's a Crayola marker. I know. Please don't ban me. But oh no, let's say I've got a pretty good bleed here. I kind of want to rapidly, again, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, well, I'm bleeding. That's crazy. I want to rapidly assess. So, content warning. I'm going to get a little graphic. So, if you don't like blood, please click away now. Okay, here we go. If I look at this and I see bright red spurting blood, that is a major hemorrhage or a major bleed that requires immediate care. Now, if I'm just, in the kitchen by myself, or I'm just kind of walking around a con or something by myself, and I see a major bleed, I might not have the right tools. Let's say I just find a rag. So, actually, I got ahead of myself. Before I even have a rag, I've got my hand. Let's say I put my hand over it. I hold pressure. And this is probably not going to stop the bleed. But I can hold pressure and I can get somebody, hey, help me, da-da-da. I can at least help my chances of survival instead of letting it sit there and bleed freely. If I have a rag, I can take the rag, hold pressure with the rag, and do the same thing. Because I need care. This is not going to make it go away. This is probably not going to help. I need to get care. Now, if it is bright red spurting blood, and it is bleeding through the dressings you put on it, a rag, if someone has come along and put gauze, which I'll show you in a second, but if it is bright red spurting blood, you may use one of these. This is a cat tourniquet. Now, I do not want to teach anyone that has never used one of these before how to use one of these. These are to be used in specific instances and to be used a very specific way. If you have not been trained on how to use a tourniquet, this is not the video to train you. Reach out to the American Red Cross, your local fire department, your local, I believe it's Lifesavers, the company, and they can offer you training on how to use these. If you have been trained, this is your refresher. Remember, high and tight, Make sure the person is pulseless and the bleeding has stopped. Again, do not go out on Amazon and buy some piece of crap random tourniquet that looks like mine and go putting it on people. This is a CAT tourniquet. It is Teachable C approved. This is a very specific type of tourniquet and is to be used with a very specific type of training. Please do not go out there and play doctor. Reach out, get professionally trained, get certified. Do not play with Amazon garbage. That's my little spiel on tourniquets. So, I slap here. We can tourniquet the limb, stop the bleeding. We would also remember, please guys, document the time. Please document the time. I know it's stressful. I know you might be some overworked con staff member that's like, oh God, I gotta tourniquet somebody. Please don't forget to document the time. Your hospital will thank you. Your EMTs will thank you. And they're dropping somebody off and they know when this was applied. We know how long this limb's been TQ'd. Life gets easier for everyone up the chain. Please don't forget to document time. And secure your tails. Do not have your tourniquet tail hanging off a patient, because it'll come right off. Secure your tails, tourniquet users. For my non-tourniquet people, I'm glad you're here. I'm happy to have you. So, or let's say I look at the wound. Let's circle back. I've looked at it and I didn't see bright red spurting blood. I've got kind of a slow, kind of lackadaisical bleed, kind of darker. It may be a venous bleed. It might be a capillary bleed. It might not really be a serious arterial bleed. It might, it might be a little lesser. It might not have got myself as bad. We can use, and I'm pulling from giant first aid kit here, which I don't know how many of you carry around big old first aid kits. We're going to do a tour of my first aid kit, my IFAC, my little house kit here in a moment on a separate video. I know. I'm so content baited. But this is nice to have. So from that kit, I've got my 2 items here. This is a gauze pad. Looks like a tissue. I promise you it's not. This is really a gauze pad. I can come up, place it on, and hold pressure. And this is rolled gauze. Can you see that little roll? I'm not going to open this because I really don't have a ton of replacements. I need to buy more, but I don't want to right now for reasons that may be apparent around when this is uploaded. You know, if you know, you know. I don't really feel like spending money right now, but so we put our pad on. You would take the rolled gauze, and you'll have to imagine with me, please. Roll it around and around and around. Oh, okay. You guys got me. The pad's not supposed to fall off, but I roll it around. I want to do a little above, a little below, kind of help seal the wound in. And then I'll tape that off, and that will help to stop the bleed. So, let me grab this real quick. If you put one of those on, and I bleed through it, if it continues to bleed through the gauze, do it again. Put another pad on, go again. If it bleeds through that, we have to go to the tourniquet. We underestimated it. So I would hope if you have already applied 2 gauze pads, 2 rolls of gauze, that you will have received or be in the process of receiving medical care up the chain. An ambulance, a doctor, a staff member, somebody is there to help you, and somebody who can handle more advanced care practices and interventions can actually provide that to you. If not, we have done something terribly wrong. Please, do not be the Iron Man. If you are injured, receive additional care. Call for help. There are other life-threatening injuries that we can get to as well that don't involve bleeding. Respiratory distress and choking. If you are experiencing respiratory distress, there is only so much you can really do for yourself. If I have a respiratory distress issue, I need to get help, and I need to be receiving care. Individuals that carry rescue inhalers, you need to be familiar with how to operate your inhaler. You need to ensure your inhaler is up to date. You need to make sure that you still can use it safely. If you are experiencing an issue where you are in respiratory distress and you go to pull your rescue inhaler, let's say you might have a hard time being able to do that. You might have to ask for help. Hey, can you help me use this? Are you ready and capable to explain to a random furry how to use your rescue inhaler? Are you? If you're having difficulty breathing, can you explain to that furry, hey man, you push the button, da, da, da. Like, can you explain that? If not, find a way. Start thinking it over now before it ever happens. Tell your group of friends, hey guys, I carry an inhaler. This is how you use it. If you see me, da, 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 like this is my symbol. Inhaler comes in, da, da, da. Right. Let's say for choking as well. That's another obstruction of the airway. Don't be sticking your fingers in your mouth, blindly jabbing yourself if you're choking. You need the Heimlich maneuver. You need to get someone to help you. There is self-Heimlich, which is cute. I mean, we know the Heimlich. This is great. But if I'm not having a good time breathing, I'm probably not going to be the most competent and capable rescuer. I would love to flag someone down and get care for that personally. But if you want to sit there and Heimlich yourself, go nuts. Additionally, let's say allergic reactions, right? If you carry an epinephrine auto-injector, can you verbalize to a random furry who has never seen an auto-injector in their entire life, hey, I need you to take this auto-injector, stab me through my fursuit, through my costume, through my pants. Again, if you can, try to make that, that area accessible, because if your auto-injector can't penetrate your fur, or it can't penetrate your baggy pants, and that's the only auto-injector you have for epinephrine, that's not great. So, stuff to think about. Carry your epinephrine while you're in suit. Carry your epinephrine while you're out and about. But can you explain to someone, hey, I need you to take this auto-injector. I need you to stab me with it. I need you to hold it there for, I believe, 10 seconds. Was the last time I heard about that, and it might have changed. But can you verbalize that? Think that over in your head. Tell your party members. Tell those with you, hey, this is what I have. If this happens, do this for me, okay? Just so everyone is on the same page. And we can work ourselves down to minor injuries. I mean, we don't have to be extreme. If you're feeling kind of hot, kind of sweaty, take your fursuit head off. Hydrate. Hydrate means water. Hydrate means water. Hydrate means water. If you take your fursuit off because you are feeling symptoms of heat stress involving heat stroke, any of that, and you pound electrolytes, you are not going to make anything better. You're probably going to throw up, and you're probably going to feel way worse. Water. Sip water. Cool down. There are posters all over. There are staff members. There are medical personnel. If you experience heat stroke, render care to yourself like an adult. Do not tough it out. It does not make you cool to pass out and have to be transported by medic. And I'm sure you don't want your fursuit being cut, because let's face it, I would look a lot less cute in pieces. You don't want that. Things like headache, please treat those appropriately. Muscle aches, treat those appropriately. Ensure that you are taking medication that you are prescribed, or you can handle OTC. You're aware of the side effects, you're aware of the contraindications, and the medication is within date. Ensure, and this is for you out there, my little furries at cons, don't be taking a bunch of NASDIDs and stuff that say, hey, if you take this, maybe don't drink with it, da-da-da. You take a bunch of these painkillers, I've been fursuiting all day. And then you go party and drink. Don't do that. If it says to not consume alcohol with the medication, the con does not make that rule any different. Don't do it. Don't be drinking with stuff you shouldn't be drinking. Come on. Let's be mature. We don't want to go by ambulance somewhere. The con hurts a lot more when you're at the hospital and not at the con. Just saying. And I'd also recommend, if I'm not saying to carry, the homunculus first aid kit around, but bring what you need. You packed your bags. If you get a cut or a scrape, bring a bandage. Bring some Band-Aids. Bring some painkillers for you that you're allowed to have, that you're safe to have. Bring the right equipment to the event. Don't show up with the wrong stuff. Don't show up with nothing, I promise. Going up to the staffers and begging for a Band-Aid, I'm sure they'll give it to you. But how nice would it be if you could just give yourself the Band-Aid? It's just stuff like that. So, that wraps up this video. We covered hemorrhaging, we covered airway, we covered minor injuries, and just general stuff with care. Please, big takeaways. Remove your fursuit before rendering care to yourself. Ensure that you are in a safe place. Do not render care in a hazardous space, a building fire, a roadway, etc. Always ask for help. If you render care to yourself, how great would it be to have a certified professional come over and take a look at what you did? Because let's say you did the most amazing bandage job of your life, and it's kind of crap. It's okay, but always ask for help. You're not a one-man army, I promise. It's okay. And be safe out there. I worry for you guys. I want to ensure you guys are safe. And I want to make more of these videos. If you like this kind of stuff, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if you learned anything new. Like this video if you liked it. Dislike it if you hated it, and leave me the meanest comment you can. I will mog on you later. If you like this kind of stuff, subscribe. I'm going to do more. I'm going to do a furry video on providing aid to somebody else. I'm going to do a video on touring first aid kits, medical kits, stuff like that. And please hit that bell. YouTube has been very, very not kind to me recently. Yeah, it's a whole thing. But I'm happy to do this stuff for you. I worry about you. I'm Ross, your favorite Foxhusky and cringiest medic. Goodbye for now.